Welcome back, everyone. Today I wanted to take a look at one of the more complicated characters from the Challenger series that are releasing as of recording this Friday, January 19th, and that would be Vash the Stampede. At first glance, he doesn't really look to be doing much. Definitely Wolfwood is the more straightforward character of the Trigun Stampede decks, and not having seen the show or the original, don't crucify me. I didn't really know much about the character until my wife said that Vash is actually a pacifist. And, seeing how he's a gunslinger, I thought, okay, that's kind of funny. But then I thought, I wonder if there's a way I could translate pacifism into Universus. Obviously, I have to be playing attacks, because that's just kind of how the game goes. Although I may take a retro look at Vash that does this same strategy with a bit more of a foundation base and less attacks, but I thought, what are other ways to win other than just outright attacking your opponent? Mill. So, that's kind of what this Vash is going to be doing. So starting with the character, he is a 6-hand, size 28 health character with all, death, and life. We're going to be focusing on the all symbol. He has 2 enhances. The first is Tenacious, so playable while committed. Mill 1, your attack gets +2 speed. Simple. And then Enhance Commit, discard 1 attack, draw 3 cards. Pretty alright. I mean, becoming a pseudo 8-hand size character whenever you discard an attack is pretty solid. And let's just go through this quirky little deck that I've just decided to force upon you all. Starting off with Inevitable Clash. This is the ultra-rare attack from the Trigun Stampede Challenger Series deck. It is a 6 difficulty, 3 control, 5 high for 7, with powerful 3, ranged, and weapon. And it has Enhance, add the top card of your discard pile to your hand. Obviously, Vash is going to be wanting to manipulate the top card of your discard pile a lot, usually making sure it's an attack, like with his own effect. So this is just basically picking up an attack out of your discard pile whenever you can. That's kind of why it's in here. I was debating between running 4 of this and cutting Counter Sweep altogether, but then I saw in my stats that my block zones were all just perfectly even, and I can't bring myself to break that now. But obviously with testing, if I decided to sleeve this up, I'd have to see how it played. Moving on to Steady Shot. It is a 4 difficulty, 4 mid for 4. With Enhance, if the top card of your discard pile is an attack, your rival loses 2 health and you gain 2 health. So, kind of the attacking but not attacking, kind of a burn, kind of a mill deck. The deck wants to kill your opponent in any way other than just reducing their health to 0 by direct damage. And this also helps you gain health, which you're going to need to keep your health high in order to, live long enough to mill your opponent out. Next we have Turn It Up, the Present Might card from the Plus Ultra Pack 6. It's a 4 difficulty, 5 mid for 2. It has Enhance, both players mill 1. If your rival did not mill an attack, this ability may be played again this Enhanced step. So use it till your opponent mills an attack. Just get as many cards off the top of their deck as possible. And then it says Enhance, this attack gets +X damage, X equals the block modifier of the top card of either player's discard pile. You're going to be manipulating your top card of your discard pile a lot, and this card can obviously manipulate the top card of your opponent's discard pile. And with Vash giving it 2 speed with his mill, you can make this a 7 mid for actually pretty decent damage, 5 maybe. If you have if someone has a +3 on top of their discard pile, so not bad. It's mainly in here for the multiple mill. Then we've got Precision Seal Strike, a 4 difficulty, 3 mid for 5. Enhance, your rival reveals the top 3 cards of their deck. You may discard any cards revealed this way and return the rest to the top of their deck in any order. Mill 3, for free. Just mill 3. Just get more cards out of their deck. And then Enhance, if your rival has 1 or more sealed foundations, change the zone of this attack. You're not sealing your rival's foundations in this deck, so that doesn't really matter. And of course, you can't have a mill deck on all without Final Exam Gut Shot. It is a 4 difficulty, 3 mid for 6. It's a flash attack, so no enhances to be played. And it says, response, after you play this attack, discard the top 8 cards of your rival's deck. Get rid of the top 8. Just take what was almost a quarter of the deck, and now, I don't know. Math was never my strong suit. But just mill 8 cards out of their deck, make them deal with this, 3 mid 6. Pretty good. Then I've got Counter Sweep. It's a 5 difficulty, 2 control, which is kind of why I was only have it at a 2. It's a 3 low for 6 with powerful 3. It says enhance, if your rival has more removed cards than you do, draw 2 cards. If you can force your opponent to cycle before you do, that's pretty good. Or enhance, commit 1 foundation, remove the top 2 cards of your rival's discard pile. Commit a foundation, remove 2, and then then you get to draw 2 cards if you have fewer removed than at least the 2. So between the force removal on Counter Sweep and being able to pick up an attack with Inevitable Clash, these are the 2 I was kind of debating on which I should play more of, so I just kind of decided to set them as a 2 of for each, just to kind of see where it went, and then again I saw the block zone thing and just thought that was too perfect to mess with. We've got 1 Pro Hero Rankings. It says, while this card is in your stage, it's an asset, by the way. I should mention that I'm moving on to non-attack cards, so moving on to assets. It's a 1 difficulty, +1 mid-block, 5 control asset. Pro Hero Breaker 1, we're not using that. Unique, doesn't matter, we only have the 1. But while it's in your stage, after you cycle your deck, you may choose up to 5 attacks that were removed in that cycle and shuffle them back into your deck. Vash does mill himself to give speed to your attacks, and we're not playing a very big deck, so it is quite possible that we could mill ourselves out, especially with him, with Turn It Up. It is possible. So we don't want to mill and lose, like, all of our final exam gut shots on cycle. So this just gets those attacks back so that we can continue to draw with Vash, we can continue to play our attacks to kind of keep milling our opponent down. And it also says, enhance, commit, reveal your hand. Your non-throw attack gets +1 damage for each foundation revealed this way. So if you pitch an attack and draw 3 foundations with Vash on your first attack, and you've got 6 or 7 foundations in hand, you can just pump 1 attack, make it really, really big, and with Vash you can increase the speed, and just kind of have a bit of a ball. So, it serves 1.5 purposes. Then we've got Interdimensional Plants. This is the asset from the Trigun Stampede deck. It is a 3 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 high block. Enhance, commit, destroy 1 foundation, draw 1 card, your next attack check to play a card gets +1. So you would destroy a committed foundation, maybe something that you can pick up, maybe with Inevitable Clash if you wanted to reuse something that you had to flip, or just destroy a committed foundation to draw a card and get +1 to your next check to play an attack. And then, main reason I wanted to put it in here was the discard 1 momentum, your attack gets +3 damage, gain a health, because again, we want to gain as much health as we can, keep our health up, so that we can really play that long game. Moving on to actions, we've got Avoiding Conflict. It is a 1 difficulty, 5 control, with response, remove after this card enters your discard pile during the enhance step. This attack gets +2 damage or -2 speed. So if you can pitch it somehow during your opponent's turn, you can give -2 speed, or you can just give damage to your attacks. Make your opponent want to block, because then if they block, that's a card out of their hand, that's a card they have to check, so that's 1 more card out of the deck. So putting damage on your attacks to make them threatening is good, because your opponent will have to deal with them, and therefore checking more cards out of their deck. And then enhance, place this card on the bottom of your deck, draw a card. Just cycle it out. Maybe draw something better. We've got Airy Smiles as a 3 difficulty, +2 high block. Response, flip 1 foundation. After you block with this card, your rival must play a non-attack card or pass their as their next form, or pass. So, forcing them to play more cards, maybe you'll cut into their attack string. If they have to play another card, that's again another card out of the deck that they have to do. And then enhance, remove, add 1 foundation from your stage to the top of your deck. If you absolutely need to pass that check, and you need to put a 6th check on top of your deck, this is a way to do it. Then we've got Battle for the Future. This is a 3 difficulty, 4 control with a +4 mid-block, which would be pretty good to check on Turn It Up. But response, discard 2 momentum. After your rival plays an attack, discard it from their card pool. When this card leaves your card pool, remove it. So just pay 2 momentum, get rid of a card, just avoid the fight altogether, like a true pacifist. Moving on to foundations, we have Counselor for Plants. This is a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 low block. It says response, tenacious, flip. After this card is committed due to your rival's effect, gain 2 health and ready a foundation. If they try to stun you, if they try to target commit you, you gain 2 health, we're trying to keep our health high, and you get to ready a foundation. So all in all, pretty solid. We've got Get the Scoop, a 1 difficulty, 5 control with a +3 low block. Flip, look at the top card of your deck, you may discard it. Good way to get an attack on top of the discard pile for cards like Steady Shot or Inevitable Clash. And if it's your turn, it's good to get that 3 check off the top of your deck so that you can block better. Motherly Affection, a 1 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 high block. Enhance flip, if the top card of your discard pile is an attack, gain 2 health. We're manipulating the top card of our discard pile, we want to keep our health high. A 4x of this is a no-brainer. Then we've got Pitching In, a 1 difficulty, 6 control with a +2 mid-block. Enhance, flip, choose 1 card in your discard pile and place it on top of your discard pile. Pick up any card you want with Inevitable Clash, get a high block mod on the top for Turn It Up, get the burn and heal with Steady Shot. You guys get the idea. Prideless Negotiations, this is a 0 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 mid-block. It's a Breaker 1 block, so if you block with it, your rival's next check to play a card gets -1. Good for early builds, good for trying to stop your opponent from killing you on their turn. All in all, mainly there as a defensive piece. Seen It All, 2 difficulty, 4 control with a +1 mid-block. Enhance, if the top card of your discard pile is an attack, this attack gets +1 speed or +1 damage. So if you know you have cards in your hand like Battle for the Future that need momentum, you can manipulate the top of your deck and give a whole bunch more speed to try to push those attacks through and guarantee that you get momentum. Or you could pump the damage and force your opponent to have to deal with your attacks so that they're, again, checking more cards out of their deck. Next up is Suspended Bounty, a 2 difficulty, 5 control, +2 high block. Enhance Commit, this attack gets -2 speed. If the top card of your discard pile is an attack, it gets -3 speed instead. So again, you're always going to be able to manipulate the top card of your discard pile, so you can consistently commit this for -3 speed so that you can consistently block your opponent's attacks. But probably a card that might do this better, Defending Pageant Queen, 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +3 high block. Enhance, remove, reduce this attack speed to 1. You're going to block that attack. The only thing is Suspended Bounty is a simple commit cost as opposed to a flip or destroy or remove. Next up, Convenient Timing, probably one of my favorite defensive foundations. It's a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 mid-block. This says, response, discard 1 momentum. After you block with this card, your rival's checks get -1 for the rest of the turn. I love this effect. This is Breaker for every card you play at the cost of 1 momentum. Really solid. I love this card. I remember playing in the pre-release for League of Villains with Mr. Compress, and I would block and use Mr. Compress's effect to add the block to my momentum, and then block with a Convenient Timing, and I just made people absolutely miserable. It was hilarious. I loved it. Also, Enhance, you may add 1 card from either player's discard pile to the bottom of their deck. So you can add, say you have a foundation on top of your deck, but you know there's an attack underneath there, you can add that foundation to the bottom of your deck, if need be. You're mainly playing it for the block, though. Then I've got Gas Cloud, a 1 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 mid-block. It says, response, after this card is committed due to your rival's non-character effect, they lose 2 health. This effect cannot reduce your rival below 1 health playable while committed. So this is another one of those like anti-stun pieces or anti-committal pieces, so that if your opponent does stun you, they're basically, the idea for putting this in there is they're doing it to themselves. You know, you're not the one, trying to hurt them, but they're doing something to interact with your cards that's then hurting them, so it's kind of their fault. Then we've got full-on attack mode. Even pacifists can be pushed too far sometimes. This is a 1 difficulty 5 control with a +2 high block. Sorry. It says enhance, destroy 1 foundation. If your attack deals damage, gain 1 health, and your rival loses 1 health. That loss of health can reduce your opponent to 0, and you gain health. So again, forcing your opponent to deal with your cards, or you get to gain health and you get a little bit of extra chip damage. And then Chivalrous Competitor is our last foundation with 1 difficulty 5 control +3 low block. Enhance, flip, both players draw a card. It's just another card off the top of the deck, and you get to draw another card to maybe play more. And then response, before one of your foundations would be destroyed or flipped due to your rival's non-character effect, flip this foundation instead. You're mainly playing it for the draw effect. So yeah, this is my first take on Vash. Honestly, because I really didn't know what to do with him. I know there's a lot of things you could do with ranged, a lot of his kit. The whole deck is all ranged attacks, so I'm sure there's some fun things you could do there, but I kind of wanted to lean into the pacifist angle and see what that could do. I do, however, think the pacifist mill angle will work better in retro, because as soon as I was halfway through building this deck, I thought, oh, there's like 30 different retro cards I want to play to make this an even better strategy, and I think I will definitely come back to this Vash build in retro to try to tweak it up and show you guys all the fun little all-mill cards that you could be running. But yeah, this was my first shot at it, and pun not intended, and I just thought he's interesting. He's definitely more of a workaround character where you need to really be thinking about what you're pitching, when, what you need on top of your deck, when you want it on top of your deck. He's really more of a thinker character than someone like, say, Wolfwood, who has some thinking to him, but he's mainly just put 3 damage on every attack, make every attack scary, and just blow people away as quickly as possible. Where I see Wolfwood being a turn 2, turn 3 character, I see Vash playing a much longer and more defensive game. So I kind of wanted to lean into that long game, not trying to be too overly aggressive, but maybe sculpt how I want to slowly whittle you down. And kind of just turn it into a bit of a war of attrition. Not quite Recovery Girl level war of attrition, but something kind of similar in that vein. So let me know what you guys think. Which of these 4 characters are you guys going to be playing for the Bounty Challenge? Oh, because they are having a Bounty Hunter Challenge for the release of the Challenger series from, I believe it's January 19th to February 18th? Don't quote me entirely on those dates, but from the release of these decks for the next month after, if you register for your locals with one of the Challenger Series characters, and you do have to submit a deck list through the UGN app when you register, you get 200 extra loyalty points when you sign in and register a deck with one of these characters and as your starter. So I think that's really cool, especially since they're putting up some new promos specifically for the Challenger Series, some alternate arts that are really pretty, and a Cowboy Bebop mat. I am definitely going to be sleeving up all 4 of these characters, because if you sleeve up all 4, you're basically guaranteed an extra 250 points at the end of the run of the event. So you can get, I think, the total was like 1,500 points total, which is insane. I've already got quite a few myself, but, you know, it can't hurt to have more points, especially when every set they're adding new Plus Ultra cards to put on there. So yeah, I didn't really know what I was going to do for Vash, and I think this could be kind of fun to go and annoy my locals with. Because for me, locals isn't about winning, it's about having a good time and goofing off, and the Hermit goes back to his mountain for his training. So, yeah. Also, speaking of the UGN app, if you guys are not on the UGN app, it is play.uvsgames.com, I believe. If you register on there with your email address, you can get signed up for all of your local events, webcam events, regional levels, all sorts of stuff. And if you put in the "How did you hear about us" on the UGN app, when you sign up, it'll ask, how did you hear about us? If you click Content Creator and you put in me, UVS Hermit, it actually helps support me. I found that out. So yeah, go ahead and, if you want to support me and all the goofy, fun little deck designs that I do, that's a good way to do it. If you want, you can subscribe to the channel, because I'm always coming up with either random ideas, or I'm trying to focus more on competitive ideas, but it's just, with Yu Yu Hakusho coming out next month, I'm really trying to wait until we get more information about that, because obviously that's going to be the new hotness that you're going to need to watch out for. But yeah, I will be doing more competitive stuff. I love doing standard, retro, spotlight. When Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament drops, I will do some Yu Yu Hakusho spotlight stuff to see how the old and the new mesh together. So look forward to stuff like that. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry for my rambling here at the end, and I will see you in the next one. Later.